Welcome back. In recent years, the term Japa, derived from Yoruba slang meaning to flee or escape, has become synonymous with the significant immigration of Nigerians seeking better opportunities abroad. This trend, often referred to as a brain drain, involves the departure of skilled professionals and has profound implications for Nigeria's socio-economic landscape. The Japa movement is characterized by the exodus of middle-class and highly skilled Nigerians, a trend that has been occurring in waves since the late 1980s. Initially restricted to certain professions, it has now become widespread, with developed nations introducing visa programs to fill workforce gaps, thereby attracting Nigerian talent. Immigration of skilled professionals present both challenges and opportunities for Nigeria's economy. We now dig deeper into the Japa phenomenon as we're joined by the founder of the Tech-Centrics, Dr. Addy Olubamiji. Good to have you with us, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's talk about current realities on immigration policies in the US and some parts of Europe. Is it still worthwhile to engage in Japa syndrome?
I don't think it's a syndrome. I think Nigeria can really benefit from Japa. And when we look at the policies, everybody's trying to safeguard what they have, which is fair. But as a nation, when I look at us as a nation, I think we believe that Japa is a bad thing. We don't see the good side of it. I am one of the examples of good Japa. I left Nigeria in 2008 to study biomedical engineering in Finland. At that time, that program wasn't existing in Nigeria. And from Finland, I relocated to Canada and did my PhD. Came out to become the first Black person to secure that PhD in a Canadian university. And a few years later, I'm an expert in 3D printing. Under President Buhari, the Nigerian government reached out to me to come and help with digital transformation, robotics, 3D printing. We were able to introduce them to companies like General Electric, Cummins, because when you go out there, not only do you get the new technology, you build relationships, collaborations that you can bring back home to help your nation. Look at what we have right now. We have AI, IoT, all these new technologies. They are not in our universities today. If they are, they're just starting out. And when it comes to research, the level we are at is so small that the scale we need when it comes to innovation, we can't afford to not Japa.
So I like the fact that we are flipping the coin
Yeah.
as against the regular
Yeah.
conversation, that is usually tilted towards the downside of the brain drain that happens when, Nigerians leave the country. But now we're talking about the benefits, right, the pros. For instance, there is the foreign remittances that come into the country
Yes.
when you talk about boosting our foreign reserves in the country. But that does not happen or will not happen if those that are abroad are not sending in these, foreign currencies. It would also not happen if most of this, for instance, you are back in the country to invest and also to contribute what you've learned outside the country. How many times do we see people who have gone outside the country come back to contribute what they have, gained or learned outside the country? He was just talking about the fact that it's not the best of times for Nigerians who are in a country like the United States because of all of the policies that President Donald Trump is coming up with. But how many times do we see Nigerians go out there and then come back home to say, okay, there's no place like home. Let's come back, let's build the economy, let's contribute our quota from what we've learned outside the country?
So I want to, first of all, change the narrative. That is not the best time for people abroad. It is one of the best times.
Okay.
When Donald Trump came into office, I'm a U.S. citizen, he passed some executive orders from day one. For example, he passed 2 executive orders focusing on we want to pump more oil and gas. We know that's similar to what Nigeria does. So we have a lot of petroleum engineers, chemical engineers who have gone to school in the U.S. who would benefit from such. He also passed an executive order on digital technology. We have fintech booming in Nigeria. So when people talk about the fear of what is happening, we should see the opportunities in these things because the opportunities are there. So that is just to address the fact that it's not a good time. Now it's dealing with
but what about the migration policies that...
illegal immigrants. It's dealing with illegal immigrants. And it's talking about more investment in the U.S. Who's going to do those jobs? Qualified people. So legal immigrants as pathway for that is still working, that is still there. They will always need it to support the economy. Where illegal immigrants, it's fair to want to crack down on that.
Okay, so let's talk about how possible, how feasible it is for those who have gone there to come back and invest in the country.
So I always say this, we can change everything. We can change our passport. We can be very good at technology. We can't change the color of our skin. We can't change. My name is Adiola Olubamiji. Anywhere I go, the brand is there. I'm Nigerian first. So when you get to a certain point in your career, you've achieved what you want, and you own companies, you own all of this, you have to look back, especially when we know the opportunities are here. Nigeria has a lot to develop. And when we come here, we see those opportunities, and we know we can power that. So I believe that a lot of people who are going, they need time to upskill. They need time to know the system. They need to build their careers. They need to build that network. When they get to that point, you will see them wanting to come back home. I'm an example of that. Now, since I arrived in Nigeria 2 weeks ago.
Unfortunately, we don't have statistics to back that up, because I know that the statistics we have out there is about how a lot of Nigerians leave for greener pastures and they don't want to come back.
So I want to give examples like in Boyeji. I was somewhere yesterday. At that table were about 12 people. 6 of them have come back home. I'm also back home looking for those opportunities.
Okay.
I believe that when you get to that stability point, if there's opportunity to come back, we would do that. Now I want to talk about incentives to come back.
Okay.
Now, Nigeria oftentimes believe that we owe it to the country to come back. We do not. I never got any scholarship in this country, always graduating top of my class. My master's, I never paid tuition. PhD, I never paid tuition. Other countries invested in me. Now, for us to come back, there has to be incentives. If I have to start a business here or own a company, there should be something like tax break for 5 years. Like if you come here, start something, you will get a tax break for 5 years. That will encourage somebody to want to come in. Now, a country like Rwanda, they are always poaching their talent to come back. They recruit Rwandans to come back home, to come and hold top positions after they vetted them because they feel like they need them. Nigeria doesn't have a pathway, a bridge for us to return. We need that bridge. A lot of us, over 15 to 17 million Nigerians are abroad. When we go out there, we upskill. We become experts. Nigeria can stop hiring white people, experts to come here. If there's a bridge for their people who are now skilled to come back, that bridge needs to be built for it to be easy for people to come back. Look at Dirty December. 70% of those people are they not Nigerians? Yes. If we can come and have fun, you don't think we want to come and invest? There has to be a bridge.
So how does that build that bridge? Because I remember during the last administration, there was a deliberate effort to try and get experts, Nigerians who have traveled abroad, contribute their quota to the development of the country. But all of a sudden, that died down. There was so much ceremonies and all that fanfare. But how do you do that? How do you get the government to get involved?
I mean, we need to stop fluffing out the office of the diaspora. It needs to be more intentional, very practical, not reaching out to the people you know. There has to be a database, first of all, to collect people who are abroad. A database that lists our expertise, what we have, what we're interested in, what our degrees are, what our expertise are, what our awards are. So when you need stuff, like we want to build a hub for digital transformation, we need 3D printing expert. Then we have maybe 50 people, and we can see their credentials, we can see what they can do. Then we know that when we need this type of expertise, we have a pool to draw from. Today, we don't have any database like that existing. Who should build that? Maybe the Office of the Diaspora, that the government should create. That is serious, though. Yeah.
Indeed, we need more of people like you, especially to boost our foreign reserves and ensure that our Naira gains strength. Thank you so much for your time. We'll have to leave the conversation there. Dr. Addy Olubamiji, founder of D-Tech Centric. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.